back I downloaded this app for my phone and tablet called Flipboard. Have any of you heard of Flipboard or used Flipboard before? So what Flipboard does is, oh geez.
Who are we Skyping?
No, we're not gonna
Alex
Skype
for
anybody.
help. He's diving.
It's here in the, yeah, there you go. You can just get rid of it. Anyway, I downloaded this app called Flipboard. And what Flipboard does is it allows you to pick from a wide array, literally hundreds, maybe thousands of topics, to build your own kind of newspaper that you can read every day. So it only brings you stuff that you're interested in. And so the way you get started with Flipboard is you scroll through all these different topics and subtopics and you pick, maybe you're interested in soccer or economics or politics or whatever. And so I picked, I don't know, maybe I picked 15 or 20 different things that I was interested in. And as I'm scrolling through the list, I see this one called happiness. I'm like, that sounds interesting, so I clicked on happiness. Then every day as you use Flipboard, the ones that you read about the most are the ones that you get more of as time goes on. So I started, every day I would be looking through Flipboard and I would see happiness. I'd read the happiness one, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And then the next day I'd be scrolling through and I'd pass over all the ones that I'd set up on sports or technology or whatever, and I'd go right to the happiness one. And I kind of got addicted to this happiness thing. I'm like, what is it about happiness that is so addictive? And I just kept reading about it. And the one thing that was disappointing, though, was that, my skeptical engineering brain really found that there was no data behind this. The happiness articles were really a lot about people's opinions on happiness. And a lot of them were kind of the same and overlapping and similar to this list. But what this list comes from is an article that I read last week where each of these points was backed up by a study, which really hit home to me because finally I've got this happiness research that's backed up by your happiness article that's backed up by research. So I thought I would review this with you today, and maybe we can all improve our happiness a little bit, and I can go on about reading something else maybe. So the first one is exercise, and I've always kind of felt this. Exercise has been important to me. But what was really impactful to me about the exercise piece was a study was done where depressed patients were broken up into 3 groups. One group was given medication only, one group was given medication and moderate exercise, and one group was given just exercise, just a rigorous exercise routine. After 6 months, 38% of the folks that were given just medication had already returned back into their depressive state. 31% of the group with moderate exercise and medication had also returned to their depressive state. But only 9% of the people that were given a rigorous exercise routine had returned back to their depressive state. And that's a big difference. That really hit home to me, how important exercise really is to being happy. So I was impressed by that. The second 2, I think, are really related, and what surprised me about these 2 is the interaction between them. On the technology, you see the line through it, that means it's really not about technology. So staring at your cell phone or your tablet or your laptop has been proven not to make people happy. And the reason is because a lot of that time is being spent on social networking. And social networking tends to make people feel anxious or inadequate or maybe not as good as all the rest of those people out there in the world. And the link between actually being social, which I think we all kind of know, I mean, we're all here together at 6:44 a.m., right? is that it takes real social interaction, social face-to-face conversation, talking, touching, seeing each other is what really counts in social interaction to make people more happy. Helping out others and time outdoors. These 2 again were surprising to me in that the amount that it takes to actually increase happiness. In terms of helping others, it's been shown that only 2 hours per week of helping other people will maximize your happiness. That doesn't seem like very much, right? In terms of time outdoors, only 20 minutes a day is what it takes to actually improve your happiness. And that's, again, not very much. Another kind of interesting little nerd defect on time outdoors is that, guess what the optimum temperature for time outdoors is? 57 degrees, it turns out. So bring a jacket, be happy, okay? Experience it. We've all probably heard is you can't buy happiness, right? And you don't see, what you don't see on this list is money, you don't see yachts or mansions or anything like that. If you have money to spend, it's best to be spent on experiences. People prepare for experiences, they have the experiences, they remember the experiences. That is a much better way to improve your happiness. Meditation has been shown to actually reduce the area of the brain that's devoted to stress. And the one personal experience I have with meditation is that it's really, really hard to think about nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's tough, so I need a lot to work on that. Gratitude is one thing that comes up on almost every list. So being grateful for what you have helps people improve their happiness. And what's great about gratitude is that as you get older, you have more and more things to be grateful for that have passed through your life. The only problem is you have to be able to remember them. Sleep. Everybody knows that depriving yourself of sleep is both mentally and physically not good for you, right? What this study showed is that happiness actually is increased the more quality sleep that you have. You can actually improve your sleep, or your happiness with sleep. And finally, faith. So believing in that there's a higher being or a higher power that's in control and maybe can give you some relief of all the worries and anxiety and stress that you have. So in closing, I'd like to say that hopefully all of you have learned a little bit about happiness and how to improve this. And as Toastmaster next week, our theme is going to be happiness. So everybody bring your jokes, words, and everything on happiness.